General of FICCI. And I think on behalf of, once again, on behalf of FICCI, I'd like to welcome you to this important discussion on the film exhibition industry. Um, as you know, the film industry exhibition is one of the most hit sectors of Indian business. The airlines were competing with you, but now they're opening up on the 25th. I think the other segment is the restaurants and hotels, but even they can do takeaways. That's not necessarily what we can do in the film exhibition industry. We have been supporting this through the Multiplex Association of India, which was created by FICCI about 20 years ago. Last month, we organized a virtual meeting with all of the industry stakeholders. Some of you were in that call with Shri Prakash Javadekar, Minister of Information and Broadcasting, and Shri Piyush Goyal, Minister of Commerce, to discuss the issues related to the sector which have emerged due to the corona crisis. Both the ministers recognized the contribution of this sector to the economy, and of course wanted to said that they will take up these issues to provide relief to the sector. Nothing may have come specifically for this sector in the packages, but many state governments, and I hope the exhibition industry is covered by them, have given relief on minimum electricity charges and some lease rentals, but it varies from state to state. Our efforts at this point of time are to open up this sector. We have also worked with all of you to create a standard operating procedure to open up the sector with precautionary social distancing and measures to work in the post-COVID scenario. If it's any consolation to all of you, FICCI also does meetings, seminars, and conferences, and we also require people to get together, not necessarily to watch a movie, but sometimes even to watch a movie. And we are also under lockdown. So our revenues, like many of you, have been close to zero, some membership subscription and some webinar this thing. The deliberations that will take place here would be valuable for the growth of the industry, would help us to align all stakeholders and then take our recommendations to government and get a consensus among industry. We have extremely eminent personalities here, and first of all, I want to thank them for the support to the industry and for being virtually present with us today. We have Mr. Kamal Yanchandani, CEO of PVR Pictures, and Mr. Alok Tandon, CEO Inox. They would add value to this discussion by providing a perspective for the multiplex side. Everybody knows Siddharth Roy Kapoor, who is not only an eminent producer of Hindi films, but also the president of the Producers Guild of India. His views from the film production side and also from the association side, which is working very closely with the producers, will be invaluable. Of course, we also have Mr. Akshay Rathi, MD of Rathi Cinemas, to present the view of a single screen. I don't see Suresh Babu yet, but he will join there. Lena, you should actually also tell him that we can help with the shooting in whichever state he's talking about, so we can actually put
Telangana.
Yeah, we can easily do that. Okay. We also have Mahendra Soni from Sri Venkateshwara Films, which is present in all three verticals of the film industry: production, distribution, exhibition in the eastern region. I think very valuable to include inputs from the eastern part here. Gaming is one of the most important angles in the film production. We have Mr. Shivashi Sarkar, Group CEO of Content, Digital and Gaming at Reliance Entertainment, to add the whole value of gaming in this discussion. So once again, thank you.
He's a producer. He's a big producer, and also his two most upcoming projects, Suryavanshi and 83, are just around the corner. They were supposed to be released, but because of COVID, they had to be postponed.
Yeah. I am aware of that. As you know, that one of the actors in 83 is a good friend of my son, so we get to meet a little bit on that. But with this brief introduction to all of the panelists, I would like to hand over to Mr. Kapil Agarwal, Joint Managing Director of UFO Movies, to take forward this whole discussion. He is an important player in the complete value chain of not only getting the films to the cinema halls to every nook and corner of India, but also, as he shared with us, spending a considerable amount of his salary on viewing films and contributing to the economic value added in this sector. I'm sure there'll be extremely good quality discussion amongst the panelists and the audience present here. And may I now hand over to you, Kapil, to take this forward. And I look forward to one of the best discussions that we've had in a long time. So thank you, all of you, for sparing your time and being with us.
Thank you, Mr. Chenoy. And many thanks to everyone for joining this, like Mr. Chenoy said, very important discussion on our request. You know, basically, we all have one common objective. That is restart the cinemas in post-COVID era scenario and release films as soon as possible. However, there is a feeling that until the world has a vaccine, people may avoid going to crowded places. And cinemas being enclosed, crowded spaces as also discretionary for people will probably be the last place where people would like to take any chances. At the same time, personally, we all know that people are having severe OTT fatigue and want to go out of home and enjoy life like they did before. Watching movies with family, as we have been talking, on large screen is really what people love. But they are scared as of now. How to take their fear out and bring them back to watch movies soon as possible is the key to survival for the entire film fraternity. Also, we understand that while national chains are putting SOPs together and implementing sanitation, temperature checks, and other means to make people feel secure, it will really take pan-India cinemas, including independent multiplexes and single screens, to reopen without giving that sense of safety to audiences at large, with giving that sense of security and safety to audiences at large before the big producers start releasing their movies. So I think big movies will not release until audiences are there, and audiences will not come back until they feel secure, as well as until big movies are there. So it's really a catch-22 situation for in the system. How to break it is the question that we need to answer. With that thought, we thought that we should bring all the movers and shakers of the film industry from east to west, north to south, from guild to individual producers of big movies, from national chains to single screens, and digital cinema providers like UFO on one common platform to provide a common thought leadership to all and create some common standard which can be implemented across. You know, one negative incident happens anywhere in the country and all cinemas across the country may be asked to shut down, like what happened in certain other sectors. We really want to avoid that happening to our industry. As I said earlier, while national chains might be able to implement standards themselves, independent cinemas, including small multiplex chains and single screens, spread across the length and breadth of the country, may need hand-holding. We at UFO Movies are willing to provide that support, create SOPs and tariffs, and train staff in thousands of independent cinemas across the country. And I'm sure other service providers like Cube, etc., will also join us wholeheartedly in this endeavor. It's in everybody's interest. And the digital cinema players can really play a role of binding force for the entire industry, since they are connected with each and every cinema in the country. So it will be helpful if we can agree on a common SOP and a common standard. Timing wise, I feel this is the right time, since we are in a shutdown mode. Cinemas are not operating and everybody has enough time at hand. Once the cinemas reopen, then we will be really in a rush. We all will be in a rush. We'll be running helter-skelter. So let's discuss this crucial issue today. And what better panel really than this to understand and chalk out a roadmap of the measures that can and need to be taken to win the trust of the audiences, to get them back to cinemas. Before we start, a small housekeeping note. We had some 1,300 registered participants today, from media to exhibition sector to producers, distributors, vendors, bankers, and other service providers. I'm sure they will have a lot of questions. I will request them to post their questions in the Q&A segment, and time permitting, we will try to answer as many of them as possible once the panel discussion is over. And also I will request everyone to confine their questions to the subject of this seminar, not beyond, because I'm sure there are few listed companies here. People will have a lot of interest in asking questions, but let's keep it for another day. Let's confine to the subject of this seminar. With this, let me straight away go to the panelist. First, let me ask Mr. Alok Tandon. Mr. Tandon, what's Inox, and for that matter, other multiplex chains are doing for bringing the audiences back to your screens when cinemas are allowed to reopen? What processes, SOPs you are setting up? Cinemas have a significant amount of commonality to the hospitality sector. What learnings will be taken from that perspective? Over to you, Mr. Tandon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot for having me on this webinar, both FICCI and UFO. And we are absolutely right that what's our first objective? Our first objective is to build the trust with our audience and ensure that they come back to us. Well, what's also very important is that nurturing customer trust, which has always been important, and it will continue to be very important. And that's there for any business. Forget cinemas, forget production, forget distribution, but building customer trust is very, very important for all of us. And especially post-COVID, this phase is going to be like a litmus test for all of us. We all will agree that this is entirely a new phase which all of us are facing. These are uncharted territories. We don't even know where we are going. And I would say that this is a new part of it's a sudden thing which has come into our entire existing customer life cycle. And none of us would have imagined sitting in this entire webinar that talking about cinemas, talking about theaters, talking about movies, we'll also be discussing about gloves, about masks, about sanitization, about disinfectants. So nobody could even think of it that we'll be talking this one day. Who would also have imagined that in a place which is like a melting pot of social emotions, we'll be talking about social distancing. But here we are doing all that. And I'm an optimist. I feel that this is just a short phase. We will surely come out of it sooner rather than later. But then what's important and why we all are here together is to ensure that we build audience trust and they come back to us. And as you rightly said, whether it's Inox or the entire Multiplex Association and all these cinemas, what we have done is that we have divided this entire thing into 3 buckets. So what we are talking today about is the pre-resumption, that is how to get a guest back. We are talking about post-resumption, that once the cinema halls start, how to make sure that the audience comes to us and they feel safe. And the third is the actual visit of a customer. That does he go back home feeling secure? So those are the things which we all have looked at and we have worked on it. When I talk about various measures, I can talk about the various distancing measures which we have followed and also the safety and the hygiene measures. For example, in a distancing measure, we talk about how do we have guests not crowd into the cinema hall and they stand in a line at least 3, 4, 5 feet apart while entering a hall. So we have worked on that. We have got an SOP on that. How do we allocate seats? And that's through the software, that a group of friends or family who come, they sit together and then there's a seat which is vacant to their left or the right and the other group can come and sit over there. We all have worked on various movie schedules and various movie timings that the entry, the intermission, the exits do not happen simultaneously of 2 movies, and there's no crowding in the lobby or even for that matter in the restrooms. Where safety and hygiene measures are concerned, I would say that we all have worked a lot on it. A lot of man-hours has gone to ensure that our guests are comfortable, and we are encouraging paperless transactions, whether it's at the ticket office or at the food ordering counters. We are making temperature checks using non-invasive thermal guns, absolutely mandatory for everybody, whether it's our guests, our staff, our service partners, or anybody who enters the cinema. We all have till now seen fire hydrants and fire extinguishers in a cinema hall. But today we'll see something new. We'll see hand sanitizers in a cinema hall. We'll see a station for hand sanitizers where we will encourage every guest to go and just clean and sanitize his hands. We all are working on rigorous cleaning and disinfecting procedures and SOPs. Whether it is during shows, whether it is after a show, and whether it is at night, which is like a deep cleaning activity. We have made SOPs also for how do we disinfect surfaces, how do we disinfect counters, which are touched a lot by people, so that the next set of people who are coming in, they feel safe. They know that the cinema hall owners have taken care of all these things and actually taken care of our basic needs. We are also going to the extent of having small PP kits kept at the box office where people can buy, if they want to, a pair of gloves, they can buy a mask or a bottle of sanitizer if somebody wants to do that. So we all multiplex chains will be encouraging that and ensuring that people who want to buy that, they do it. And we are also taking this a step forward where F&B is concerned, that we will be using single-use disposable packaging for F&B service, so that there's no reuse of cutlery, of crockery, and what you consume, what you have with you, you throw it in the bin. And there are different type of bins we are making so that you can segregate waste accordingly. So various initiatives, various steps, various processes we are taking to ensure that the guests feel comfortable. When he goes back, he knows that he's entered a secure environment and he can go back again. And that's very important for the entire film industry. And as you rightly said, that cinemas have a lot of commonality with hospitality sector. I would say it's not just with the hospitality sector, but also with aviation, with restaurants, with the retail sector. And these are just unseen times. And all of us, I know for sure that nobody has got a perfect sure shot formula for this. And I believe that the more we trust, learn from each other, the quicker we will tide over this entire pandemic. We have been closely observing what the airline industry has come out with, because airlines are about to open soon. And Mr. Chinoy rightly said that they have beaten us to it and they're about to open. But we'll be learning from them. We'll be ensuring what they do for their guests so that we can implement the same thing. How do we predominantly look at consumer-facing sectors so that we can learn from them and ensure that people come to a secure and a hygienic place? And what we have always been discussing is that we will be the last to open. And I hope I'm wrong. We open sooner than later. But by that time, we will come to know what various people are doing, what the airlines is doing, what the railways are doing, what's happening in taxis, what's happening in buses, which people will use to come and watch a movie in a hall or go to a restaurant. So we will have a lot of learning from all these people, and that we will dovetail into our own SOPs and processes and ensure that we welcome a guest in a very safe and a comfortable environment.
So that's the advantage you are seeing, that although it is unfortunate that we will be probably the last to open,
absolutely,
but it is also an advantage that we can learn actually from all others, from the hospitality sector, from the restaurants, from the trains, from the aviation, and everybody, you know, that learning is going to help us.
As I said, I hope I'm proved wrong, but
yeah, we all do. And actually, you know, what is happening elsewhere in the world now, when we see that the way, you know, entire Europe is reopening the cinemas, even countries like Italy have announced that, you know, they are opening the cinemas, Norway, Portugal, Spain, Poland, Ireland, Japan is talking about reopening. So I think we somewhere probably we could be pessimistic, but I think things would change much more rapidly, because as I mentioned in the beginning, that there is an OTT fatigue in the people. I feel very bored, you know, sitting at home and watching. I've stopped watching any OTT. I want to go back to the cinemas. Right. So once that some sense of security, feeling of safety is there, I think everybody will just go out and see what has happened in big towns, for that matter. So anyway, I think that we'll continue discussing. I think from exhibition, let me move to a little bit to the production sector, and who better person than Mr. Siddharth Roy Kapoor, as the president of the Guild, has been, you know, in the industry for so many years. I have so many questions for you, Mr. Roy Kapoor, but I'll start with two. You know, firstly, when and how do you think film shootings will restart, given the fact that stars will be a little bit, you know, worried right for now to go back to shoot where there are so many people around them, for any shoot to consume it. Traditionally, we need a lot of people. And secondly, I'm sure that the guild must also be putting a lot of SOPs in place while shooting for the safety of the staff and the stars. So can the guild and the exhibition sector, do you think, can work together to learn from each other and take advantage of each other's learnings?
So to start with, Kapil, thanks for having me on this call. I just want to say that I'm really heartened to hear about all the work that's going into ensuring that audiences feel safer, because you can imagine that film producers, across the country are eagerly awaiting the reopening of cinema halls. And from all that we've heard from Alok just now, it looks like a lot of thought and a lot of application of mind has gone into how exactly this could be feasible and could be possible. So to start with, I'd just like to congratulate the MAI for putting this together, because it's very heartening to see. As you rightly said, we are looking, at exactly the same sort of measures for the resumption of shoots. And unfortunately, we might be being pessimistic about this, but shoot resumption is pretty much in the same category as cinema resumption in terms of us all assuming that it'll be the last thing to restart. But there is a lot that we can learn, I think, as Alok said, from all the other industries that are opening up even before us. And while we've made our SOPs, these are dynamic works in progress. They have to keep changing based on the environment. The biggest issue for us, I guess, is going to be if there is some sort of a curtailment on the number of people who you can congregate in a space. And I think that when it comes to film units, especially TV units, might have it a little bit more flexible because they are smaller. Film units would tend to be larger. Of course, we're looking at our entire shooting activity and figuring out if there's a way for us to make it more efficient and have fewer people on set. And I think that is a productive outcome of this sort of entire exercise. It'll just become a more efficient unit. But there tend to be a certain bare minimum number of people that you need to have on a unit for it to be productive. And of course, based on the type of film or the type of television show you're filming, that will keep changing. It's hard to say at this point of time what the mindset is going to be as far as the actors are concerned. I mean, a lot of the actors I've spoken to are dying to get back onto a movie set, but there are some, of course, who are concerned as well. And I think the way that we are creating all these SOPs for guests, we need to make it as comfortable for the crew members and, of course, for the actors, because they are the ones who are probably going to be exposed the most, because there will be times on set at which they cannot wear any protective gear. We need to make it comfortable for them to get back on set as well, and that's what we're working very hard to do. A little bit hard to say when we think shoots will resume, but again, if I can be mildly optimistic, I'm hoping that by sometime later in June or early July, you can have smaller units start resuming shoots, and probably later in July, early August, you might have larger units. But of course, it's such a fluid situation; it's hard for one to be able to make any more than just an educated guess at this point of time.
I really wonder, is it really Mr. Chanoy is wanting to say something? I think he's on mute, or maybe he's talking to somebody else. You just mentioned about that the capacity will reduce, with the social distancing and all. I really, sometimes feel, I've been thinking a lot about it. I sometimes feel that it is not going to proportionately affect the film fraternity and the the box office, because today what is happening is that half the world is going to move into probably work from home. So earlier entire pressure used to be on the weekends, and I'll also have Kamal address that question subsequently. But now whether it's a Wednesday morning show I have to see, or a Wednesday evening, or a Monday I have to watch a show because I am working from home and I am working in these virtual meetings around the clock. So I think the crowd will get spread, because earlier all crowd used to be on the weekend. So that is where probably somewhere that impact is going to be neutralized. The negative impact is going to be neutralized. That's my feel. But anyway, let me go back to Kamal. I won't ask you about sanitation, and you can address this question of mine subsequently. What I just said, that about the crowds will spread out over the week also. But given the fact that now Warner has already announced that they will be releasing Tenet worldwide on 17 July. Disney is releasing Mulan on 24th July, which is, and Wonder Woman is on 14th August. So it seems that the major Hollywood studios are really comfortable that audiences will be back in cinemas in less than 2 months. We are just talking about now. What's your take on that, and what and do you think that it will have a positive rub-off on India as well?
Kapilji, firstly, I'll go back to your earlier point that you were making on the spacing of seats or people within the auditoriums. I think what Alok touched upon, what we've recommended to multiple government authorities is that we should leave one seat after every customer group. So
Correct.
a family or a group of friends, one seat empty after each group. We are hoping that states and the central government will they'll accept our recommendation. And if they do, then the seat reduction would be somewhere in the range of 20 to 25%. Everyone knows that our occupancies are the highest on Saturday, Sundays. They tend to be around 50-55% on Sunday and about 45 to 50% on Saturday. On weekdays, we have much lower occupancies, much moderate occupancies, somewhere around 25 to 30%. Friday tends to be about 35%. So we believe that we will have the ability to space out films over auditoriums, as in give films more shows, because for the next 3 to 5 months, the big advantage that we have is that we don't have a backlog of 15 films that we have to accommodate. So the films which release new, we can spread them over auditoriums. We can also spread them over times. We also think that films will play longer in theaters because people would also self-select distancing. They would self-select and they'll change their behavior and prefer to come on weekdays instead of weekends, either because of safety concerns or because of the point that you made that a lot of people would be working from home. So I think we should be absolutely fine in terms of accommodating films and giving them enough capacity so that we could do Friday openings and first weekend opening pretty much very close to what we were doing earlier. So that's my first comment, which I thought I should add. The second part of your question, which is Warner releasing Tenet on 17 July, Disney scheduling Mulan on 24th, and then Wonder Woman in August. I think, firstly, these studios are big supporters of cinemas. And the fact that they have scheduled their tentpole titles, wide releases, so soon after theaters are opening in US, because most chains are lined up to open sometime in June in US, and studios have decided to release their wide releases within 2 or 3 weeks of major chains opening. And that, I think, is a strong signal because it validates this thought that there is a lot of pent-up demand. Studios believe that because people have been locked up at homes, OTT fatigue that you touched upon, the fact that people are appreciating their social experiences even more because they've been totally confined at homes, would actually propel and ensure that when these big films, made by some really known filmmakers come out, people would come out with a lot of force, and that would sort of get the cinema industry back in momentum. Coming closer home, I think the implication of what the studios are doing with their wide releases, I think it'll have a lot of implication on what's happening in India because our distributors, producers, Shivashish, of course, has 2 big films, and one of the big questions that he or any other producer is sort of grappling with is how soon will people come back to cinemas? And I think, like you mentioned earlier in your opening comments, that it's a it's a catch-22 situation, whether people come first and then producers schedule their films or the other way around. I think producers would get a lot of signals about, so firstly, this point that studios believe that there is a pent-up demand has been validated with Warner and Disney scheduling their large films, big films so quickly after cinemas opening. The second point, when would people come back and what sort of numbers would we see in the box office? I think a lot of producers, distributors will get very strong signals from how these films are performing at the box office, because all three uh, are a perfect programming mix. They're all wide releases, so they'll be dubbed in local languages. They will play in all metro stations very strongly. But at the same time, in terms of demographics, they're targeting different. I mean, they're targeting all segment because they are, you know, these wide releases, so they're targeting all the four quadrants. But at the core, Tenet is targeting more mature audience. Mulan is obviously gunning for family audience, and Wonder Woman will be young adults, teenagers, that sort of a segment. So the numbers that we do with these films, whether it's urban centers or it's tier 2, tier 3 centers in the dubbed versions, would give a very, very strong signals to our distributors and producers. And hopefully, you know, a lot of producers who have this attitude that people would be apprehensive to come back to cinemas quickly enough because of health concerns, that fear would be put to rest. So I think what studios are doing will have a big and a positive implication in the Indian market. The second aspect is what Alok spoke in detail about. So you can have the wide releases, but it's important when the first lot of people come to cinemas, it is important that cinemas should give out an impression that they've got their act together. So all the measures that Alok spoke about, you know, if cinemas are able to execute them well and give out an impression to people that they are protected, their health is being taken care of, without interfering with their movie going experience. And I think that's critical because ultimately people are coming to relax and enjoy and escape from their day-to-day worries. So if we are able to give them this impression, that in itself will generate tremendous amount of word of mouth. So the first lot of people who come in would speak to their friends and families, and then the cycle will start.
Well, I think that is the heart of today's webinar. In fact, heart of today's discussion, because our worry is that, you know, while, as I said earlier also, that while, you know, Multiplex Association of India, PVR, INOX, national chains, they will be able to put their act together. You see, when a big producer has to release the movie, he will not release it just for few multiplex screens, you know, which are a fourth of screens or a third of screens in India. And that is exactly is the heart of today's seminar, that can we actually create a scenario where we have you know, that is where this experience needs to be taken far and wide across the country. All cinemas need to open, smaller multiplex chains, independent cinemas, and that is exactly where we are prepared to work from our side to handhold everybody, you know, because they are not the organized lot. This is exactly what the experience is. I see Mr. Suresh Babu is just walking in, and can you hear me, Mr. Suresh Babu?
Yeah, I can hear you, sir. Just coming out of the CM's office.
Yeah. Yeah. So I hope your meeting was productive.
Hello?
I said, I hope your meeting was productive.
Hello?
Yeah. So this was the core of the this thing. I'm not sure if Mahendra is there. So Mahendra bhai, I'll now move. I'll come to Suresh Babu Garu. You know, once he's in a little bit better area.
Yeah.
He's now getting into the car. But before that, let me go. Before going to south, let me just move a little bit east. Mr. Mahendra Soni. You know, Mahendra bhai, as the leading film producer, distributor, exhibitor from the Eastern Circuit, can you give us some idea of what is happening in your circuit in terms of readiness of movies as well as cinemas reopening?
Hi, Kapilji. Thank you very much for doing this. And is what is actually required to, a combined effort to restart this whole process, because I believe that cinema is a cycle and everybody needs to, like exhibitors, producers, distributor, everybody needs to work together to, make the cinema, ultimately cinema, successful. So in terms of, we were actually doing great in terms of reopening. Our CM has announced that from 27th, almost 70-80% of economic activities will open, and we were thinking that next slot, maybe by 10 June we will see some announcement with respect to opening of cinemas and opening of shooting. But again, day before, you, as you all are aware, that we were badly hit by Amphan, which is, still we need to figure out how much damage it has created, but done actually. So I'm not sure, I'll not be able to comment right now at this moment that when we would be able to open. But as far as the readiness goes, I think everybody is very keen, and by the general sense, by talking to people, by talking to communities that we've built across, Eastern India, I feel that there's this thing that we want to go out and watch a film on big screen. All said and done, I've seen this, I've seen that, but body screen पे picture कब देखेंगे? That's the whole overall thought process whenever we start any conversation, from not only from inside the community, from outside audience also, because today every brand, every place is connected with the audience, and they get feedback. We have created a lot of research papers कि क्या करना है, we want to go out and watch the film, and most of them have come back almost 60-70%. No, we really want to watch the film on the big screen. As far as internally industry, I would say I've been talking to a lot of creators, and we've been talking what is the next steps, and we are all geared up. As soon as there is anything that there is any indication that we can resume shooting, we would just go out and start shooting. I think probably, as Siddharth rightly said, Television would start early, because they tend to shoot with a limited unit. Films would be a little critical because there are a lot of things, big unit, outdoors, and following social distancing norms would be very difficult for a big setup. But still, I am hopeful, and the way we see things today, every day this panic, stigma about what's happening, what's going to happen to our health, and all that is going away, and people are started reacting positively. We have started opening offices. So I'm very hopeful that we will resume the activities very soon.
That's wonderful. Suresh Babu Garu, can I come to you now?
Yeah, please, sir. Go ahead.
Oh, lovely. So now it's absolutely. So, sir, you are the veteran Telugu film producer, studio owner, exhibitor, distributor, all in one. And you command unparalleled respect not only in the Telugu film industry but across India.
Thank you.
Given the fact that there are very few movies ready for release in different languages, and it will take quite some time before the shooting restarts and the new software becomes available, don't you think that there is a need to release all movies everywhere in the country? What I mean is, dub Telugu movie in Hindi, Hindi movies in Tamil, Bangla, Telugu, so that when the screens reopen, they have content from across the country available to them till the new content pipeline gets ready. And also the releases is staggered, and as such they get more screen space and more revenues come both for the exhibitor as well as for the content owner.
No, this idea of dubbing films all across other languages, from Telugu to Hindi to Bengali, this is something that needs to be done not only in COVID times, even post-COVID times. Trying to reach across the board is very important, sir. Having said that, there are a few films which are going on like that. Maybe you have the Bahubalis or the Robots and such large films. There is opportunity for a lot of regional language films which can go to Hindi and to other language films, and Hindi can come here. It's just that people, since they're getting their films ready in the last minute, they don't get it on time, which is a practice that we should change, and we should all start doing this. Having said that, again, you have to make a good film. Usually the films that do well in dubbing are the ones which the local industry is not providing. For example, in Telugu, the A.R. Rahman music or the Ilayaraja music types of films used to do very well. Things which the local industry doesn't make and doesn't provide, those were the films that were doing well. At this time, it will definitely help. But the problem will be now we have a big film called Master, Vijay's film, which might have a very big release.
Right.
Now, will he be willing to take a release as soon as we open up the screens, or is he going to wait for a period of time? Is something that we'll have to wait and watch. If he's going to be, we're just coming out of a meeting with the Chief Minister of Telangana. He was quite positive in terms of restarting our shootings. So he said he would work out the modalities and let us know in the next few days. So he's put us to his ministry, but he was relatively positive on this whole thing. And within a week, we will clearly get an indication from when shootings with restrictions will start. After that, then he said we will look at the cinema theaters and opening up in the next discussion. But as a mood, the mood is now people are getting used to this, and we should slowly start the entire economic activity back into normal. They were having some better numbers in terms of registrations on lands, or whether it is number of people traveling out in the buses are increasing day by day. So they feel that most of these activities will be restarting. So we can expect some news even on theater opening in the next 2-3 weeks from Hyderabad also on when we should be able to open the theaters.
In fact, I was mentioning before you joined, sir, that we will be surprised. We are all sitting in doom and gloom scenario that we don't know. We are the first to close. We are the last to open. But people are really, really wanting to go out now. People are having this whole fatigue, sitting at home, OTT fatigue, socializing fatigue. Everybody needs to socialize. We are all social animals. And so I was just saying that we don't know, whether it reopens faster. So we have to really, really be prepared as fast as possible. And I was telling Kamal also was addressing that question, because now with Mulan releasing, Tenet releasing, Wonder Woman releasing, so I think that catch-22 is being broken by the Hollywood studios, because these are big movies catering to different genres, and they are also going to be released wide in different languages. They will be dubbed even in the Indian languages. So, they will be done very wide. So I guess that some start is already happening.
Yes, it is definitely happening. It is not looking like it is going to be a very, very long term.
Yeah.
It is within the next few months, I think all theaters should be running everywhere.
Yeah. And I think there is a need for the because I always felt that the industry was pretty much divided. What was happening in Telugu film industry, what was happening was very different from Hindi. What was happening in Hindi was very different from Tamil. But I think now there is a need for all of us to work together. And like Master you mentioned, Master is already being dubbed in a few languages, I think.
Yes.
So give space. When Master releases, don't release any other movie. When Suryavanshi releases in multiple languages, don't release any other big movie. So I think that will also enhance the quality of movies being made, isn't it?
Yes, 100%. See, this sharing of exhibition time is very important.
Yeah.
See, we run a lot of places where there are only 2 theaters in a town. Now, what happens when 4 films release? It's only 2 films get all the 4 shows each. So I've been telling, let's give 2 shows for everybody. So we need to learn how to share amongst ourselves. Unless we are able to share programming and not be like, I will hold this film, somebody else holds that film. If we don't have that habit of sharing, then we will face problems again. So only then all the dubbing films will come. If I know that I will release a master dubbed Hindi version and I will get a good release, then I will do it. But okay, festival time, I won't get any screens. This time I won't get any screens. So then that mood also goes off. So it should be a continuity that they will at least get some screens. I'm not saying that they have to get the prime screens, but at least that continuity should be maintained. And we should have a national platform which can address all these things. So all films are like Suryavanshi releases. We must see that we at least give 250 towns where that film can release in Andhra Pradesh, and they have reasonable amount of shows. So that kind of programming as exhibitors, we need to redesign our properties, and we have to be able to adjust our programming also like that. So we should share our programming. It's not a competitive space anymore. If we are able to live with each other, that's when, and mostly all these dubbing films do extremely well in the single screens. So as single screen owners, we all need to come together and set this up. Then I'm sure it will happen.
Yeah, I think absolutely. I think a lot of things with this COVID-19 happening, which is the worst thing which has happened in our lifetime, but probably it's going to reset a lot of things for good for everybody actually.
Yes,
and, it's going to. So now I think let me go to Akshay. We have got the production point of view. We have got the multiplex point of view, the international movies. Akshay, you own and manage a lot of independent cinema. So are you ready with your SOPs? And do you think that we all need to work together to create and follow a common standard to ensure simultaneous opening of all screens across the country? And please share your views from the single screen perspective and your suggestions as to what is required for these screens to help them in their preparedness. So how can we help? How can, this entire panel can help?
Right. Thank you, Kapilji. First things first, a big thank you to UFO and everyone at FICCI for putting this together. Truly privileged to be a part of this August panel. And I hope all of us can, put down thoughts together, which can help all of us emerge out of this scenario together. Talking about what the single screens are doing, of course, there are a certain degree of SOPs that we've made, as a sector. And not only with our collective intelligence, we're also engaging medical practitioners in some of the small towns, because obviously the structure and the whole design and the flow of audience in single screens is very different compared to maybe a multiplex screen in a mall. So we are making sure that we customize our procedures to make sure that the contact between people is minimized. The touch points that people come close to or in the vicinity of are negated to the bare minimal. So all of those things are absolutely in place, and we are gearing up to be war ready for whenever the governments give us permissions. But having said that, I truly believe that at the end of the day, whether it's for single screens, whether it's for multiplexes, or whether it's for any other business in the country, getting this right has to be a collaboration between the enterprises and the people. Because trust me when I say this, when it comes to contracting the virus, if you don't take the right kind of, care and you don't deploy the right measures, you could contract the virus in something that's as necessary as a Kirana store. And if you deploy the right kind of measures and you make sure that people are being responsible with their acts, you could be in a cricket stadium and you'll walk out safe. So ultimately, it's a partnership between, us, where we deploy the right kind of measures, the sanitization procedures, and the audience or the public at large, which is going anywhere, whether it's cinemas, kirana stores, vegetable vendors, or the offices, to take the right kind of measures and precautions, which means that they have to wear masks, they have to wear surgical gloves, they have to sanitize, they have to maintain social distancing. So with this partnership, I truly believe that every sector in the country is ready to open. Aviation has opened up, and in terms of demographics, in terms of proximity of people, I truly believe that the exhibition sector can afford to and can, in a much more organized manner, enable social distancing and screening. So I really think we are pretty set to go with the permissions, coming into play. And I'm pretty sure that once we do that, once we deploy the right measures and invite audiences, we'll have a bumper response.
Yeah, very nice. Sibashish must be wondering, what am I doing here? And but Sibashish, rest assured, I was saving the best for the last. I mean, for my last question, because you are the man of the hour. You are the person in the hot seat today. You are ready with two big films, two big movies, Suryavanshi and 83. Just as the lockdown happened, I think within 2 weeks, both your movies, within a space of 2 weeks, were scheduled to release. And I also heard you, in another webinar and in few press, interactions, mentioning that you will release these movies only on big screen once the global exhibition sector opens up. You said global, actually, because you said a lot of revenue is going to also come from US, Europe, Middle East, for example. now that we just discussed that studios are beginning to release their movies as early as less than 2 months from now, and in India, the national chains as well as independent cinemas are wanting to open up as soon as possible. Your movies are going to be crucial, at least for the Hindi market, and as we discussed, probably also for the national market if they can be dubbed in all languages. And like Suresh Babu sir said that in you got 250 screens in Andhra Pradesh with good programming. So it's going to be crucial for restarting cinemas not only in Hindi market but all India. So when do you think you will be ready and willing to release these two blockbusters? Everybody is looking at you.
Thanks, Kapil, for calling me. So, couple of things. As you correctly said, that in the month of March, I think Suryavamshi we just pulled 7 or 8 days before the lockdown, and 83 was another 3 weeks to go or 4 weeks to go. So first thing first is that once the lockdown opens in some manner in Bombay, so in some manner the government is slowly opening up to allow the post-production studios to open up, then we'll have to first finish the film. So I don't foresee that won't take more than a month's time once the lockdown opens. The real question is that once we are ready with the release, what is the timeline we have in our mind? So going slightly back into the international market scenario, I think all of us got quite excited when we saw yesterday Warner finally released the trailer of Tenet. As of now, they are holding the date. Now, even for Hollywood, the problem is exactly like in India, because even for Hollywood, for their domestic market, they're close to 35 to 40% business comes from New York and California, right? And New York is worst affected, as exactly like Bombay circuit is affected in India. So Bombay and Gujarat are probably Maharashtra and Gujarat are probably two large affected states. So I'm sure that in India, some of the markets will open up prior, and probably for regional movies, maybe Malayalam will open up, maybe Tamil Nadu will open up, and I'm hearing positive news from Suresh Gadu also. But for a Hindi language film, we have to wait till we see that the all India circuits are opening up. That is point number one. Point number two, as we also said earlier, that we'll wait for at least the 5 or 6 major international market, which I believe will open up before India, like your North America, Middle East, UK, NZ. Most of these countries looks like, as of now, it looks like if Tenet really holds their date on July, then they will definitely try to see that they open up. It all depends now on the New York. I think release of Tenet is now depending upon whether New York comes to a shape and New York governor allows the cinema halls to open or not. It is not in the hands of Warner Brothers. It's not in the hands of anyone. So that's what the situation. Now coming back to our discussion, as we earlier said also, that all my directors, be it Kabir Khan for 83, Rohit Shetty for Suryavamshi, as well as my partners, as well as Reliance, we aspire to take these spectacle movies, big scale movies for a theatrical release. Means whenever these movies are being made, the aspiration was to make it for a theatrical release, and we'll try to hold as much as we have to bend forward, backward, and unless we completely our back breaks, we'll try to hold the cinema for theatrical. That's the reality. That's the aspiration. Having said so, taking the point which we discussed earlier, as and whenever the cinemas open, we clearly foresee that there will be a dent on the theatrical business. Now, whether the dent is for sitting capacity, whether the dent will be for less number of shows, unfortunately, India is a under penetration country. I mean, we have much less cinemas. If India would have been like a North America or China, nobody bothers whether the percentage 30% goes or 40% goes. But in India, for especially a big film, if somebody is releasing say a Radhe or Suryavamshi or 83, they would have expected, in a normal situation, they will expect a first day number of 40 crore, 50 crore. Those realities are not there right now. If the capacity itself curtailed down dramatically or to some extent, we all have to be cognizant of that fact. So yes, there will be certain commercial hits which are there in the back of the mind. How that has to be worked upon, how that anyway, I think we all need to wait till government comes with a circular that what are the kind of do's and don'ts they will put it across. From a timing perspective, I believe that probably even if the cinemas open up sometime, probably July, August in the country at a national level, we will tend to wait at least a couple of months. We are not going to bring the first films into the situation. we'll tend to see that what is a realistic situation by the month of July, August, and then probably we'll take a call. That's the thought process now. You never know if situation improves, because we don't need time to complete the movies. The movies are virtually complete. If situation improves dramatically, then maybe someone may thought that, okay, we'll come in August or we'll come in September. As of now, the aspiration is more at the last quarter, looking at whatever is the situation in the August, September kind of timeline. But it's a fluid discussion. I mean, there is no point of having a commitment. Who knows that by August, September, we are all hopeful, positive people. We are all hoping that everything will fall in place. If it doesn't fall in place, then it's another story altogether.
Yeah. What you mentioned, Subhashish, I'll just go probably to Kamal and I think others also. Is it not a Kamal and probably Siddharth for that matter? Is it not a paradox? On the one hand, you mentioned that, we have very few number of screens. We have only 9,500 screens. 2/3 of which is probably single screens, 1/3 is multiplex screens, and out of which national chains are half of them, a little more than half of them. It's not a paradox that we make whatever 1,600-1,700 movies a year. We release in English and in Indian languages, 22 different languages. We release the movie. We have less number of screens. Still, from a programming perspective, the theaters don't get the movies. For running any cinema successfully, a single screen or a small chain, you need at least 30 to 35 weeks of programming to make money on the cinema, and they don't get even 30 to 35 weeks of programming. Is it not really that with so much of content, some resetting needs to be done, something needs to be done that the content owner who invests heavily his heart, soul, and money into the content, and the content doesn't earn money what it should, and the people who want to watch that movie, the movies don't reach them. For example, I'll tell you, last week we had another discussion with the creative community. So Mr. Aditya Kashyap was saying that I made Mukkabaj, I got 5 screens in UP or something like that. Then I spoke to my UP guy and he said, sir, we wanted in 20 screens. The producer, the distributor said that, oh, the director wants only a very limited release. While director is saying that I wanted to go it far and wide because I am from UP. And I thought I made this movie keeping UP in mind. So this is not a paradox. So how do we do to break this paradox that content should make more money? You see, in the pre-digital era, content release was very, very limited. Digital has at least changed it. Digital cinema has at least changed it. Now at least we are seeing the 100 crore, 200 crore, 500 crore club. Big movies are releasing in 3,000-4,000 screens. But why not in more? Why can't we have it more? I mean, it's question is open for the floor. I mean, Kamal, Siddharth, Suresh sir, Alok, anybody wants to come in? Yes, Siddharth.
So Kapil, I think what you're raising is a very valid point, and which would be relevant in COVID times, pre-COVID times, post-COVID times, whatever. It's really about, sometimes we get into a self-fulfilling prophecy when it comes to the way that we treat content, because we think that we know what a certain type of content's potential is, and therefore we limit its potential by putting it into that slot and therefore, releasing it accordingly. What I think a film like Bahubali taught us, and of course that's the most extreme example of it, where that was a film that was able to sort of become the biggest Hindi film of all time, not being a Hindi film. It taught us that actually if you push the envelope and you are willing to take things to another level and being able to experiment with your strategy with regard to distribution, you sometimes might be pleasantly surprised and you'll push the envelope further than you thought it would. Just taking the example of Mukkabaz, I think the thinking must have been, and I could be wrong, but I think the thinking must have been is that it's such a heartland UP subject and does not have a star in it, that yes, it might be set in UP, but it's not going to work in UP because UP actually wants to watch a Suryavanshi, right? But I think maybe what Anurag was saying, and which might have got lost in translation, was that I believe that if it's a good film, even without a star, let's give that market a chance and not prejudge it by what might have been the traditional way that films might have performed there. I think the problem is that when it comes to increasing your capacity in terms of number of screens, etc., it's a cost factor that you take into account. And then when push comes to shove, because commercial decisions are being made, you follow the path of least resistance and you look at the empirical data and you go by that and you plan your release accordingly. But I think we do need to take more chances in the way that we distribute our content with regard to dubbing, with regard to distribution, and with regard to the width of the release in the future.
I think the quality need to change, and the distribution method, because sometimes we feel that there is a very preset mindset that this movie will work in this region, this movie will get an opening of so much, this movie will get an opening of so much. And why I took the example of Mukkabaj was because I was privy to the information where the director, the producer, they wanted to send it to more cinemas. They were told that there is no demand, and cinemas were demanding, and they said the producer and director didn't want to give it to more cinemas. So that that kind of contradiction was there. Yeah, you wanted to come.
I can add. So just adding to what Siddharth said, and I think Siddharth captured it well. But in addition to that, the incremental point is that excuse me, that our business is a business of peaks and valleys. So there are weeks when even if you had 30,000 screens, that wouldn't have been sufficient because you had so much of demand on a certain film or multiple films which were playing in that phase. And then you have weeks where, you are wondering whether even this 9,000 is overbuilt for this country. Unfortunately, that's the nature of our business. In PVR last financial year, we played close to 1,000 films. I mean, not 1,000 in each cinema, but 1,000 in total in about 12 or 13 languages.
1,000 titles. Yeah.
1,000 titles is what we played. But the stark reality is that 85% of our admissions came from the top 100 films. So the first 100 films out of the total of 1,000 films contributed disproportionate amount of admissions to our kitty. That's also a reality of this business. And I think third part is that ours is not a homogeneous market like US or Europe, where people speak the same language, they have same or similar behavior or same attitude or same sort of perception, curiosity about films. It appears, because I've also been a distributor for a long time, what we have, and this question is something which we have faced constantly when you're talking to the creative fraternity. They want more prints because obviously their sentiment or their attitude is that more people should get to watch it. It should be convenient for people to come to cinemas. And as a distributor, you're always trying to optimize the commercial consideration. You want to, it's not just the cost that goes into P&A, but it's also about how do you sort of create that optimal occupancy so that the subsequent weeks, you get a long run at the cinemas. Because if you spread it too much, so there are also these commercial considerations which come into play because India is just not a homogeneous market. Something which will Mukkabaj, which will work. Anurag Kashyap has great equity with in urban markets, and not to say his films have not done well in tier 2, tier 3, but by and large, he's got a lot of equity in urban market. So the top 20 cities, I mean, his films behavior is very different, but you go to a Latur or an Aurangabad or Nanded, very, very different behavior. So some of these,
Well, I completely take your point that, you are getting, your major collection, 80% of the collection from top 100 movies. But then again, it is not a homogeneous market, as you yourself said. I wonder why and I'll go to Akshay to answer this question, because his perspective, probably as single screen owner and being a leader within the single screen community, not only owning his cinemas, but otherwise also, and a lot of equity with the producers, distributors, directors, he has a very good equity with all of them. My question is that why the single screens don't get that content, and who defines what movie will work or not work? This is exactly the point I was saying, that there's a preset, that there's a mindset, there's a preset formula that this movie will work here, this movie will not work here. In the digital era, you are not investing in the print. What is the issue in doing a wider release and leave the choice to the exhibitor instead of the distributor? And in that process, what are the pain points? Take those pain points out.
Right. Kapilji, see, as single screens, obviously, we are possibly the most affected entity in the value chain in terms of the shortage of content. Kamal just spoke about the PVR having released 1,000 films in the last 1 year. And contrary to that, I mean, especially for the single screens up North India, there aren't more than 10 to 20 films in an year that actually do much in those markets or, with those cinemas. So I think it's this whole procedure of fueling the entire exhibition sector or the long tail of the exhibition sector has to actually be a collaborative effort of the value chain. One, from the production, sector, obviously we need a lot more filmmakers to think beyond the 15, 20 big cities of India and create content that can appeal to the tastes and sensibilities of the markets beyond. And they don't have to be the big ticket tentpole films that with massive budgets. As much as a Suryavanshi is relevant to those markets, so is a Suraj Barjatia's Viva, or so is a Vikram Bhatt's 1920, which are movies that are very small in terms of budget, but these are films that have done phenomenally well with those markets. So that's one thing. The second entity that I truly believe can play a massive role here is you, sir, UFO movies, because for a producer, it's always a question of return on investment for every cinema or every property or every market that they reach. So with the VPF charges being the fixed charges that they are, it could always be a question mark for smaller filmmakers to see whether they can release a movie like, let's say, a Mukkabaz in a Sultanpur in Uttar Pradesh, and whether they'll recover the VPF charges. And there, I'm really glad that interview that you gave to one of the most prominent film journalists, where you spoke about turning the VPF charges from being a fixed cost to a variable cost. And that can actually, if deployed right, be a phenomenal game changer for the single screens. And the third thing we need to do is trust our audiences and their taste and their choices. There's so many instances where we've been very pleasantly surprised by the behavior of the audiences. And I can give you an example. Suresh Babu spoke about taking Telugu films in their dubbed versions to the Hindi markets. A very recent, about a year and a half ago, Allu Arjun had a movie that was dubbed as Surya the Soldier and released in the Hindi markets. And I remember in a lot of BNC class centers, the numbers that the movie came up with were a pleasant surprise that none of us imagined. And there were a lot of BNC class centers in, among single screens specifically, which ran that movie for 2 or 3 weeks. So yes, we do need to get creative. We need to give our audiences a chance. And we've seen that. I mean, 20 years ago, what was the market share for Hollywood in India? And look at what it's become today. That's happened because Hollywood continued to invest in the market, played their films over and over again without worrying about what the initial response is. And today they have managed to become a massive contributor to the Indian box office. So it's about taking those chances and giving the filmmakers the incentive to take those chances financially. And if we do that, I truly believe that India can, become a phenomenal market for all sorts of films, big and small, across languages.
That is the reason, because of the shortage of content in the single screens or in the hinterland, is what is also preventing investment in the new cinemas. Everybody knows, we always talk about that we need additional 10 to 15,000 cinemas. I think you had said, Karan Johar or Mr. Amir Khan had said that why every Indian movie should not be doing 1,000 crores. And what we did in the past, we are prepared to come in with our bit. We are absolutely, I have said that, we are prepared to charge based on the net box office, but we should know what is the net box office. That means the single screens and these cinemas also have to come up with the transparent, have to adopt the transparency. The moment transparency, I think today, why does the producer or the distributor wants single screens to pay a fixed amount of 2 lakh, 3 lakh rupees? Because they don't know what the collection will be. Why we are unable to link it to the box office? We will always be willing to, for last 15 years, 12 years, I have been hearing this demand. And we are prepared to always link it to the box office, but we need to know what the box office is. Shivashi will be willing to give his movies, and Siddharth will be willing to give his movies to far and wide. But we should all know what the box office. So I think that is something which we need to do. We have like 20 minutes left, 19 minutes left. I just want to take a couple of questions.
One thing I want to say on this.
Sorry, sir. Yes, please, sir.
See, in Andhra Pradesh, in the year 2000, we had 3,000 screens. Now we've come down to 1,800 screens.
Absolutely.
And still.
No, 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 sir. You have gone mute. You have gone mute, sir.
On the way we are designing the screens. A theater in Hyderabad called Chikatpalli, we used to have about 15 or 16 theaters. We had every type of theater. A Devi or a Sudarshan would be very premium, and there would be a smaller screen which is not so premium. So now what we have designed across the country, we have a standard multiplex with a few deluxe multiplexes, and all the single screens in Andhra have all become air conditioned. Have we chased away many of the audience because of our pricing? Because is something that we'll have to look at. Where are the female audience? They've gone to the television surely, but the cinema has become an expensive proposition for them to come and watch it. The earlier low-class mass film, the communistic type of films which used to do very well, don't play so well now because that pricing is not available. We had. So, and that is a reason factor because of the real estate which has become very high and it is not viable to sell. If I want a tea, I can get a tea for 2 rupees or I can go to Starbucks and drink. But here, it's all one size fits all. So that's a design that we'll have to see our smaller screens. We've been asking governments to give us permissions to build smaller screens with lesser permission requirements so that you can seed more and more tickets and then see how we can do that here.
I completely agree with you, sir. And I think nobody will disagree. I mean, the only way is to have these smaller screens, keep the ticket price in the range of 60 to 100, not with the, those top multiplex facility. Obviously, everybody needs return on investment. And that is exactly, we have been taking initiative through our Nova Cinema project and you are aware of it. And I think we are working on in certain areas on that as well. But I won't like to bring the company stuff on in this webinar because this is more really about the industry. I mean, before I take I have just like 17 minutes left. I just want to take a couple of questions and I have a lot of questions, but one very interesting question has come up which just made me, through me thinking that why we are not thinking about it. And this is more to Alok and to Kamal. Thus, the question is coming from MCM Cineplex. He's saying, sir, as the decision has come yesterday to resume airlines from 25th, and the aviation minister has said that there will not be maintaining any social distancing as they are going to take precautions beforehand. So will the exhibitors be allowed to keep occupancy at 100%? Because yesterday the civil aviation minister himself said that earlier we were thinking that we'll keep the center seat vacant, and now there is no point. We still can't have the desired distance, and it is not viable. And why can't we apply it? Why can't we think of pleading it on cinema as well?
This is what we suggested, sir. We suggested this. We said this. When you can do it in an aircraft, please leave the cinema theater also. That's
Correct.
all.
Absolutely right. So it came out yesterday, and here we are trying to convince the government that come what may, please allow people to come inside. And we as cinema operators are ready to even forego a few seats so that the cinema industry can start. We can kickstart the entire process again. And you rightly said that we were surprised ourselves when we read that last night, that there is no concept of keeping a seat vacant in between. And the air conditioning system, the sanitization process which you are about to do, all those things I would just lead to people coming back. If you're allowed that, it's back to normal. Things are as they were earlier. Yes, we will take precautions. And I just mentioned a few things like temperature checks, masks, all those things, we will do it. But I do not see any reason for the government now to tell us that, no, you will have to keep a seat vacant between a group of friends or a group of family. When airlines, you can do it for about 2.5 hours. A cinema is no different at all. And here, if a person is keep feeling a claustrophobic is the wrong word to use, but let's say if he wants to go somewhere out, he can come into the lobby, he can stand outside and then go back again. So I do not see any difference between what the aviation sector is doing and what we will do. And that's exactly what I said, that we'll be the last to open. And we'll learn a lot from all these things. And that is just our representation to the government, telling them that we are ready. Please help us out. To get people in, these are the measures we will do. And we are waiting from the government to get back to us.
Absolutely. And, like I only watch, I always said I only watch movies in PVR. And that also only in the recliner. And in the recliner, they have this couple seating, which is covered. I was also reading, which is like from both sides, it's a kind of a small coupe where you sit, two people. Now I was also reading recently, Kamal, that I think some cinema in Texas, they are starting with
Santikos in Texas.
Yeah, they called it plexiglass, and they
Yeah,
create
plexiglass is the thing you put
light
in the
divider,
box,
which is not very expensive actually. There's a very I was inquiring, and it is a very cost-effective solution. Can't we adopt some kind of that solution? And Akshay, even in single screens, it is affordable. It is not that expensive. So then we can actually go into a more higher capacity utilization.
But can I first go back to the airlines versus multiplexes? I think in all humility, we have to admit that airlines is a much stronger lobby, much stronger than us. Here we've been struggling to, we've managed to meet a few ministers, and they seem to be sitting across the table negotiating with the ministers. So clearly, we'll have to give it to them that their lobbying efforts have been much more aggressive, and maybe because there is a critical nature of what they do, there is a critical nature in terms of the industry with respect to airlines. But I think and also the other thing is that when you look at US or you look at the European market, the airlines industry has been extremely vocal and vehement in saying that, boss, we will not leave a seat empty in between because it just doesn't work. Whereas if you Google what is happening in US or Korea or Taiwan or any other market where cinemas are operational, and I'm sure any government officer or a minister can do it within a minute, you would notice that everywhere cinemas are going for some degree of social distancing. But I think the only positive in this is that while airlines has also started with only 1/3 of in terms of number of flights, the only positive is that it's only for a 3-month period, and they've agreed to review it after 3 months, which is what we are pushing for. That you give us this in the first 2 months, and then we review it, and then in a calibrated, gradual fashion, we remove the distancing. But you're right. I mean, as Sureshji said, if we can convince the ministers to see it from the same prism with which they're seeing airlines, there is no logical reason to say cinema should have social distancing, empty seats, and all of that, and airlines should have none of that. Coming back to your second point, Flexi, I mean, you're saying inside the auditorium. We are doing it at the canteen and box office.
Plexiglass between the seats.
A lot of cinemas are experimenting with it. A lot of cinemas have decided to, move forward with this solution in especially European markets. As far as the luxury cinemas or a premium format cinemas are concerned, because we already have, 2 meters, 6 feet sort of a distance, we've said we would not be leaving any seat in a premium screen format situation. We would be leaving a seat empty after every customer group only in the standard format. I just wanted to sort of give that, a very small difference that we put out to the government. You can do it, but it's just it's costly. Firstly, it's not inexpensive. It's inexpensive if you put it at the concession and at the box office, so that your staff, when they're engaging with the customers, there is a flexi sheet in between. But if you do it in auditorium, it's expensive. It's not inexpensive.
Well, just adding to what Kamal said, I think that's an overkill. Having a plexiglass in a cinema hall is just an overkill. We are not having it in aircrafts. We are not having it in trains.
No, we should give them the experience of watching cinema. We are not
absolutely right.
Yeah, we can't call restricted or then people won't come and enjoy a cinema.
Absolutely. Let them enjoy the movie. Let them enjoy what they've come for. And here we're doing everything extra which is possible for them to enjoy it. So I totally agree. It's an overkill and may not be required. Yeah, go ahead, sir. You were saying something.
See, the metro, even in the buses, they're not following it anymore. Yeah. I think if people are going to come, they're going to come, not because there is safety there. They will come or they will not come. So I guess it's just some kind of eyewash to the governments that we will do this and we will do that. But the way the mood will be, either they're going to come fully or they're not going to come at all. So I think they're mostly thinking of coming. So we just go ahead and push with whatever strength we have and we start off.
So there are a lot of questions which are also coming. I have at least more than a dozen questions concerning the government support. Is government supporting? Has the representation been made? Just I want to just give a very common answer to all those people who have asked that question. Is that, like Mr. Chenoy said in the beginning, under the banner of FICCI from Multiplex Association of India, as well as Multiplex and Producers Guild and digital cinema operators, we have made multiple representations to the government. And we also had a meeting with the Honorable Minister Prakash Javadekar, R&D Minister, as well as Honorable Shri Piyush Goyal, where the entire film fraternity was present. That was last month. So a lot of representations have been made, and obviously there is no no let up in that effort to seek the government support. And we are really all of us are hoping that government support comes. So now finally, the 2 points, I think, we have discussed a lot of things about the industry, but as an action point, I think there are 2 points which have emerged in the entire discussion. And of course, everybody will have a last word. I'm just summarizing those 2 points as per my understanding. One, the need of the hour is to have some standard protocol required to be carried out at the cinemas. And we will also need, around that, I'm just extending it, you will need posters, pamphlets, some audio visual which we can run in the cinemas to also train the audiences, training of the staff, awareness material for these independent plexes and the single screens to ensure the safety and security of staff and the patrons. And we can all get together to prepare all these. And at UFO, I can say that we will take the ownership for implementation and training of the independent plexes and single screens across the country. And as I said in the beginning, I'm sure that even my other friends in Cube and other digital cinema operators will also take the ownership. Otherwise, we are prepared to, we will be happy to support the industry on an all India basis. Secondly, since there will be only limited content available, and I just got a list of movies which are ready prepared. There are 59 movies in 8-9 different languages which are ready. Hindi, there are only 2 movies which are ready to release. There are 9 movies in the post-production. So there are 59 movies in multiple languages which are ready. There are 21 movies in the post-production. So there are only 80 movies. After these 80 movies, when the movies will come, when they will not come, nobody knows when the shooting restarts and all that. It may take some time. There will be a gap. So it is best to actually, have these movies dubbed in different languages and also, stagger the release of the movie so that each movie can get its due share as well as the cinema halls can make money. And of course, third point is that rewrite some rules of the game so that, cinemas start getting more movies. At least every cinema in the country has to do it, should get the content. Now, whether it is us as digital cinema operators, we have to do some changes in our system, whether the distributors have to start thinking differently. Let's all come together and see that how to make this industry, when we come back, more and more prosperous. So this was my take. We have 5 minutes left. Last word. Anywhere, Subhashish, your last word.
So yeah, I think we have summarized a couple of things very clearly. From the exhibition side, I think the multiplexes as well as the single screen, they are all gearing up to create an environment for which audience will be comfortable to come. If today an environment, in a particular environment, an audience is going to take a train or to go to an airport, a similar kind of confidence building measures, I think they are all already in that space. They're already doing homework. The exhibition sector is already doing that homework in terms of getting the audiences back. Point number 2, whether the audience will still feel safe or not, I agree with Suresh ji. Either audience will feel safe or they will not. It is not that beyond the point, even if we go on pushing the envelope, it's not going to happen. It's likely that since audiences are cooped up at home for such a long period, they are genuinely will want to go out. As a normal psychology, an audience will want to go out, be it a cinema hall, be it a retail mall, or be it a restaurant. That's the normal human psychology, and that's we have seen in every other country where it has opened up. We have seen in Korea, we have seen in China. In summer, Korea, I was reading that people are gone into like vengeance shopping. So people are going and buying stuff. I mean, so each different countries are showing different kind of symptoms, but at least people want to come out. In terms of content, yes, the fortunate or unfortunate part is that while there will be a limited content between now to next June, if from a realistic release point of view, which are films which are complete or films which are in shoot. New films going into floor and completing and releasing probably will take a certain amount of time for even the producers to get that confidence and getting, because they will wait till this uncertainty of the revenues goes. I mean, they have to find out that what kind of revenue, if at all it is impacted in the domestic theatrical or overseas theatrical business, then how they are going to compensate that, whether the new economics works for them. They have to go back to their cost of production, talent, everything, and to find whether they should make movie or they should wait for 1 year and to see what is the reality of life. So if there are a limited number of movies between now to next 3 months, 6 months, 9 months time frame, ideally, in the most ideal situation, the main three markets, which is Tamil, Telugu, and Hindi, at least for the medium or big size film, all put together. I mean, while you were saying, Kapilji, that there are 80 odd movies, all put together, there are not more than 8 to 9 big or medium budget movies.
That's right.
There are three movies in Tamil, which is Vijay's film, Surya's film, J.M. Ravi's film, and Dhanush's film. And in Hindi, we have Suryavamshi, 83, Radhe, Lakshmi Bomb, and maybe probably 1 or 2 medium budget movie. Otherwise, likely a movie is getting completed and released between now to next 9-10 months. Not more than 10 movies. Telugu, there are not big hero films. The big hero films will still take a little bit of time to come, unless Suryaji can correct me if there are any other among the top 5-7 heroes. I don't think any top 5-7 heroes, any movies are there. So that's the reality. If these 8-9 movies can make an equation among themselves, yes, maybe a 10-20% more business can happen. For Bengali market, definitely money can add, but definitely Bengali market dependent upon the local Bengali films of the local heroes. And when they comes back, probably the Bengali market can get into a circulation, because Hindi films, as much as they can go, they will not go to the interiors like a Bengali film. I mean, that bit goes. That will be true for many other regional markets also. But the positive side of everything is that, yeah, ultimately the world is opening up and there has to be a leap of faith. At some stage, somebody has to take that leap of faith and move ahead and see what happens.
This discussion is so interesting. I am really repenting why I kept only 1.5 hours. I should have kept more time. But I think it's okay, because I want everybody to have their last word, and because that will be the real takeaway. So I think we can extend it by 5-10 minutes. I hope it's okay with everybody.
Yes.
So since Sibashi mentioned about Moni Babu, so let me go to Moni Babu, and from Bangla film perspective, Eastern Circuit perspective, which is not only market for Bangla films, which is also market for Hindi films and English dubbed films and various language films. So what's your perspective, your last word, takeaway, and the last word on this segment?
Very interesting discussion. I think we have covered almost every point. I just want to add 2 things from Bengali film market. See, Bengali film market, there's one advantage that we have, that we won't take much time to start a film and release a film. Our cycle is normally 60 days to 90 days. So whenever the things go, in the right direction, we will be ready with the film. So that gap won't come in. My bigger, point here is, which I am sure that Akshay would also agree, that at this point, we can push Hollywood studios to give 2K contents in these cinemas as well. I think this is the right time. This is the biggest thing that can help single screens across India. And that is the only way I think we can survive. This is the time, if multiplexes can go out and tell the studios, why not for at least a year or 2. I think Kapil Babu, you'll also agree, we missed out this point. We discussed about availability everywhere, but if we can have 2K, big Hollywood films in these cinemas.
Well, that's been my outstanding desire for last ever. We have been in this business, we have been fighting for it since almost 2009-10.
But this is the right time. We can do it. Hollywood also needs it.
It was not happening. We adopted the DCI and also became the biggest player in the DCI space. So that's fine. No, I think makes absolute sense. And maybe ultimately Universal released 2 movies on the non-DCI platform as well. I mean,
with phenomenal results.
Yeah, this could change the entire single screen, fate in the country.
Released, and I think they got good revenue. Siddharth, your last word, please.
No, just speaking about the 2K content, since I was at Disney and I was in the thick of it at that point of time, I can tell you that we lobbied very strongly internally at the time that Universal did what they did in order to release films like Jungle Book, etc., in a broader format. I think unfortunately it's a larger issue, and I think they feel that once they crumble in one market, then they'll have to around the world. But this seismic event, I think, is the right opportunity because everyone's re-examining their business models. If ever there was a time in which there could be a reconsideration, it would be now. So I think it would be a worthwhile exercise to get into that, active discussions with studios. It's not going to be an easy one, but if there was a time to do it, it's now. I think everyone summarized, pretty effectively what they've been speaking about. What I'm really happy about is the optimism I think we all have that the next few months are going to go the way that we want them to go. Because frankly, that's the only way to move forward. We can easily find ourselves going into a pessimistic tunnel and just not finding a way out. But if things go the way they're planned, and the very heartening announcement about airlines opening up, this early, which I don't think any of us expected, actually does give us the moral right to have that discussion, despite the fact that we are very often treated as a non-essential and sometimes sin industry. I think the argument to be made is that we are in many ways in times like this an essential service to consumers. And so if there's a way to be able to reopen, obviously with all the great work that's been done by the MAI and by the single screens and putting the protocols together, then I think we hopefully at the end of June, early July should see some reopenings happen. So fingers crossed.
I think we'll work collaboratively on that very actively. We were just waiting for this webinar to get concluded and get everybody's opinion. And we will start putting, my team will start putting everything together, as well as we have compiled the list of films which are ready, big, small, which are in post-production state. And we will start, socializing that with this entire panel so that we can exchange thoughts and see what is the best way, because everybody who matters for the restart is here. Let me go to Alok. Alok, you were saying something?
Sure. No, I was just saying you're absolutely right, Kapil, that we all have to share our thoughts. We have to share our ideas. It's important for all of us today to stand together as an industry, shoulder to shoulder. And I'm very hopeful that the passion which all of us have, that will just defeat the apprehension of our guests. We will come out stronger through the entire value chain of this Indian film industry, and we will ensure that things get better for us and the entire industry as a whole. And the last line I would like to say is that we all have to cooperate and not compete, and that's how I look at it. It's a win-win for everybody. This is COVID-19, I think, has brought everybody together with a different thought process. We all are looking at the same goal, is how we all bounce back stronger, smarter, and absolutely battle-hardened.
I think we all need to go in one direction, that how we maximize the revenue of every film in every which way and support that effort, right, irrespective of what has been our position in the past. As I said, we are prepared to take compromise on our charges, although we have substantial, almost 1,000 crore of investment, but we will do everything to restart. I have also said that we can go in for a daily settlement for single screens and all that stuff, because they may not have money to pay upfront. We can go in daily settlement through technology. We can give daily license. So we are doing everything which is in our hands, but obviously we can't do it without the support of everybody. Kamal sir, your last word.
My point is that there are a lot of big questions, a lot of uncertainty about cinemas, when they will open, when will people come back, is this a long-term impact on customer behavior? And these are all valid questions. We have to be humble enough to admit that we don't have answers to all these questions. The only thing you can draw on is the history, because cinema industry has been there for a long time. There have been epidemics in the past in Western countries. There have been wars, television, VCR, now internet, streaming, terrorist attack, one after another. And after each crisis, cinema has managed to bounce back and, in fact, even stronger.
Very well said. Very well said. Very well.
And the other point is that, in fact, in these uncertain times, as Siddharth touched upon, that cinema normally is perceived to be a sin industry, but in these uncertain times, when people are troubled, when people are looking for escapism, cinema has a very critical role to play. And I think that could also be the point which will ensure that we have enough and more numbers and we come out of this crisis with flying colors. So that's my last point.
Yeah, I think what you have made a very valid point, that after every crisis, cinema has come back stronger, and I think that shows the resilience of this industry and the need of this industry in the minds of the people. I think that is what it demonstrates. Akshay.
Right, absolutely. So just building on what Kamalji said, India truly sees cinema as a form of, or as a mode of escapism. And cinema is probably the cheapest mode of entertainment or escapism that they can turn towards in these times. So in my opinion, it's an earnest appeal to the government to see this sector as, rather than seeing it as a non-priority sector, it needs to be seen with, with a degree of importance, because one, of course, this is possibly the escapism that millions of Indians need. And second, rather than looking at it as a sector that, that is glamorous or that has a degree of vanity, we need to look at the long tail of the sector in terms of the kind of people and the number of people it employs. Because maybe even if you argue that it's not a high, utility sector for people, it's certainly a sector that employs lakhs and lakhs of people who are, also from the vulnerable sections of the society. So if nothing else, for their sake, we need to get this going ASAP. And I truly believe that, once we kickstart, people will come in big numbers and help the sector, help the people who are employed by the sector get back to normalcy.
Let's collaborate and let's see that what we can respectively do together to help each other and resurrect the entire industry. And as I said last time, I saved the best for the last. Suresh sir, your concluding remarks.
What should I say? See, from the caveman days, people love to listen to stories, and we are storytellers. We will tell these stories like those dark nights in the jungle. They'll come into an auditorium, we shut off the lights. There are great stories for us to tell, and people will listen to it, and we will be back in style. I have no doubt about that. And then, like all of us have been saying, we should all cooperate instead of competing, and I think we'll all be doing very well very soon.
Lovely. So I think that concludes this thing. I will hand over in the end to Mr. Chinoy for closing it. And I think FICCI has been a great support, whether it is Multiplex Association of India, whether it is the MND panel, which Leena very ably runs. And 24 hours a day, she is accessible to all of us, and we keep bothering her all the time. And Mr. Chinoy but has kept her too busy to not concentrate only on the M&D sector, but many more sectors. So our attention really gets divided. And of course, FICCI has always supported. So Mr. Chinoy, anything you would like to say in the end before we conclude?
No, thank you, Kapil, for that. And thank you each one of the panelists, who have actually taken part, whether it's Kamal or Siddharth Roy Kapoor, Akshay Rathi, Mr. Suresh Babu, Mahendra Soni. Okay, I just learned, Moni is his name. So, it's a very interesting thing being in Calcutta. You can't escape getting a nickname, as they say. And, we have also Shibashi's Sarkar, together. For me, it's a great learning experience. And while all this was happening, I was just looking at, the China experience. So China opened 500 halls first, they had to close down. Then they opened again, then they had to shut again. And on the 8th of May, they actually started the SOPs and they started again. And even Disney has actually started in China. So I believe that, Mr. Suresh Babu said, everyone likes to listen to a story and, in the dark hall, go into a different realm, including me. So I really valued this discussion. Thank you, each one of you, for sharing your perspectives, for being frank and for being so candid. And I think out of this, a new form of cooperation is going to emerge. and it's going to benefit the entire nation as we go along. Lena and team, thank you very much for putting this together, and thank you, Kapil, for moderating the discussions and taking it forward.
Thank you, Mr. Chenoy. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you all.
And Nitin, you can switch off the broadcast.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, one second. Just 1 second, gentlemen. Have you switched off, Nitin?